I'm Chief John New of the Torrance Police Department. I'd like to talk to you about the most significant change to sentencing and corrections that we've seen in our lifetime. I'm talking about Assembly Bill 109 that was signed by Governor Brown and took effect in October of 2011.
We stand under the sword of Damocles of the United States Supreme Court, which by the middle of June will be rendering a decision which in all probability will demand the release of tens of thousands of people currently housed in our prisons. The only question is, are we going to handle it properly with a plan, or are we just going to react?
California has been ordered to release thousands from the state prison.
County jails across California preparing tonight for a wave of inmates that would normally be going to state prison.
They're saying it's non-violent offenders, but our own investigation has already shown that we're actually talking about people who do have a history, in many cases, of violence.
One of the suspects in the deadly stabbing of a young woman on Hollywood Boulevard was out of prison because of the state's prison realignment program.
Dangerous criminals who cut off their GPS monitoring bracelets has more than doubled since Governor Brown launched his controversial realignment plan.
These dangerous parolees have figured out they can cut off their ankle bracelets with little to no consequence.
Realignment is a shift of governmental responsibilities from state government to local government. Rather than being committed to state prison, as in the past, criminal offenders convicted under realignment now serve their sentences in county jails.
I first learned of AB 109 just a few months before it passed the legislature. The governor had quietly, along with some people from the Department of Finance and Department of Corrections, come up with this grand scheme, this revolutionary scheme, to shift historic state responsibilities for incarceration to the counties, really to deal with a budget crisis they were suffering. But they did not consult with law enforcement professionals in any meaningful way. As a matter of fact, there were no legislative hearings of any of the normal committees that deal with public safety matters whatsoever.
If you really want to understand the true impact of realignment and its effect on the city of Torrance, just ask one of my officers.
Since the beginning of AB 109 and the release of thousands of inmates early, from a patrol officer standpoint, we've seen an alarming increase in property crimes, specifically commercial and residential burglaries. Right now we're en route to a suspicious person call. Apparently the reporting party is stating that she just observed a few males leave her neighbor's residence that she doesn't recognize. We're going to go over there with a few other units, see if we can locate these guys and see what they're up to. This is a perfect example of someone calling in. Today we had 5 males that were basically driving around the neighborhood in a rental car. They would drop a couple of the males off, they would walk up, knock on the door similar to this house here, and when nobody answered the door, they would try to wrap around and get in a window, pull off a screen, going through the back door.
Gosh, it's been, over the past few months, we've been seeing an increase of resburgs, and we're getting hit hard, you know, 3 a day, 5 days a week. We're getting called out to these residences that are getting broken into, and we'll get fingerprints, and it's great, and we run them through the system, we get IDs, and the suspects will get arrested, and 2 weeks later, we're getting the same prints from the same suspects.
Crime displacement is also important to understand when talking about realignment. 70% of all Part 1 crimes committed in the city of Torrance are committed by offenders who live outside this city. That is why it was critically important to establish our gang detail and our regional task force.
What they're doing on the community affairs standpoint is after every resburg that takes place, he has Christine Zipkowski go into the system to see if that victim's a member of Neighborhood Watch, and if they're not, they reach out to them to see if they want to be a member. The goal of the task force is to identify crime trends and apprehend the suspects that are involved in this criminal activity via this group think tank.
I'm Sergeant Ghesquiere, the Torrance Police Department's gang detail. I also run the South Bay South AB 109 task force, whose primary mission is to basically keep tabs on the PRCS population within the South Bay. Right now we're headed out to 4 different locations within the city of Torrance, and we're basically going to do just that. We're going to go out here and keep tabs on these 4 individuals and make sure that they're doing what they should be doing. So with the inception of AB 109 and PRCS, you've basically had 17,000 inmates that have been released to the population in LA County. Of those, about 14,000 still remain on PRCS in LA County. Now, you know, the interesting thing is you've got 30% of those that will reoffend and commit a new crime. The alarming thing is roughly 60% of those that have been released are deemed high risk, which basically means, rough math, you know, you've got about 8,000 inmates, people that have been released that should be locked up in jail, that are out here roaming the streets doing who knows what. And, you know, basically that's why my team is out here, to keep tabs on them, to keep them in check and make sure that they're doing what they should be doing.
My name is Jocelyn Saragumba. I'm a deputy city attorney for the city of Torrance. The attitude of the individuals that come through and commit crimes is they're just not afraid. There's no fear of having to go back to state prison, and there's no fear of having to serve a significant amount of jail time.
The guys that are in county, doing county lids, they're ecstatic because that AB 109 is forcing them out the door. And they know that, you know. They know that as long as they keep it nonviolent, there's a good chance they're going to get a county sentence. If they get a county sentence, they're only doing 10%. Anytime
there's a change in the law, Los Angeles County is going to be most dramatically impacted, because Los Angeles County has 30% of the state's population. So when you have a change like this, you can easily predict Los Angeles County will be impacted the most. Whether it be a good change or a bad change, Los Angeles County, due to its population, will be impacted the most. So I think the impact of AB 109, which is going to be virtually all negative, will impact Los Angeles County in a very large way. And the most important way is crime's going to go up.
The prosecutor should be looking at everybody's history, because the history is going to show you what that person is. I've got robberies and I've got burglaries and stuff in my jacket. Technically, I didn't think I was going to be eligible for any kind of AB 109. Because of AB 109, they came at me with a sentence in the county jail, and I was like, I knew in my head that it was only 10% you did. I jumped on it.
The public at large has to do more to protect themselves by working with local law enforcement, being alert to crime patterns in their neighborhoods. If you spot anything suspicious out there, a stranger in the neighborhood, call local law enforcement, work with your neighborhood watch groups. Just generally be aware of what's going on in terms of crime in the community, and try and spot it and notify local law enforcement, because there will be more crime out there. That is for sure.
Community Affairs, Ghesquiere speaking. I'm Christina Zipkowski. I'm a service officer with the Community Affairs Division, and I currently help coordinate our Neighborhood Watch program. Neighborhood Watch is a crime prevention program enlisting the active participation of citizens in cooperation with law enforcement to reduce crime in our communities. Neighborhoods are divided by blocks. A captain is elected by a Neighborhood Watch group to represent his or her block.
What the Torrance Police Department is trying to do is educate the public in regards to what's occurring out here. We want to teach them certain crime trends and actually educate them on what to look for. Fact of the matter is, the culture in today's community is different than it used to be years ago.
I can remember years ago when we were raising our 4 kids, all of us women were out on the street. We knew every car, we knew every family on the street, and we interfaced with them on a day-to-day basis. And unfortunately, that's not the case today.
I'm a firm believer in the Neighborhood Watch program, and I like the fact that the Torrance Police Department is very proactive, and if you see something, say something, and call them right away.
We really rely on our community to be our eyes and ears and to report the suspicious activity so our officers can get there quickly and hopefully stop a crime before it's committed. So if you see something, say something.
The Torrance Police Department has identified the need to become more proactive with its community since the implementation of AB 109. Assist the Torrance Police Department and safeguard your community. Contact the Torrance Police Department Community Affairs Division or go to our website to register. Be a part of Neighborhood Watch.
The partnerships that we continue to build with those that live and work in our community play a vital role in our ability to keep our community safe. We are not only one of the safest cities in Los Angeles County, but we are one of the safest cities in the entire country because of you. For any law enforcement agency to be successful, there are 3 components that must be met. The first is you have to have a highly dedicated and motivated workforce. Second, you have to have a strong working relationship with outside law enforcement agencies. And the third component, which I believe to be the most critical, is you have to have an educated and engaged community, which is exactly what we have here in the city of Torrance. So if you see something, say something. I'm Chief John New, and thank you for watching.